folks, it's Bunny Love. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for coming through and checking me out. If you could be so nice and so kind and so wonderful, please just subscribe. Hit that subscribe option right there. Also, next to the subscribe option is a little bell. If you could click on that bell, you'd be up on everything I upload and it'll come straight to your notifications. So, with that being said, let's get into this review and recap of my 600-pound life. Hey folks, I want to talk to you a little bit about my 600-pound life of Pauline, June, and Chad. I want to talk a little bit about that episode. I want to start off by saying that it was good to see that they all made progress. They all did make some progress. June and Chad were the most remarkable. Pauline lost some weight, but she still's got a ways to go. I think Pauline, her weight loss frustrated me the most because, we watch these episodes on my 600-pound life and we look at the ones that are actually trying opposed to the ones that aren't trying, okay? Pauline, to me, was not trying very hard. If it wasn't for her being in the hospital on a controlled, forced diet, a lot of that weight she wouldn't have lost. She lost some of it on her own, but majority of it came from Dr. Now and what he really kind of, not forced her to do, but put her in a situation where she was forced. And I just, it didn't show very much effort on her part. Also, the situation with her son pissed me off the most. I just didn't like how she put a lot of responsibility on him. Let him live. Let him live. I mean, I know that's his mother and he wanted to help her and things of that nature, but it's like, are you going to let your son live? Like he's dedicating his whole life to taking care of you because of your selfishness and the fact that you want to eat and gain all this weight. I really didn't want to say too much on her because on her story, because her story just wasn't interesting for me. It wasn't motivating. It was, she lost weight after the surgery and that's great. However, I just, she just didn't seem like somebody that put forth a lot of effort. She just didn't, I mean, it wasn't attractive. It just wasn't something that I wasn't motivated by it. It just wasn't motivating. Chad, I'm going to talk about him. He lost a lot of weight. He really, really did. In his first initial episode, I didn't really like Chad very much either. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to say that I didn't like these cast members because I don't know them. But I didn't like some of what he did. His wife, Aisha, has 2 children that she had prior to the marriage, and I just felt like he put a lot of responsibility on those stepchildren because of his weight gain, and his own wife even said something about that. She says, my daughter, she's just a kid. She shouldn't have to. This was in the first initial episode that they did on Chad. The wife was frustrated with how he's always calling the daughter over and over and over again to help him with what he needs. I mean, you at this situation that you're in because of your own self, because you want to sit back and eat and eat and eat and you're 700 pounds. Give the children a break. Sometimes I just don't think it's fair to the kids. I don't think it's fair to the children. I did a video not too long ago. I believe it was on Mercedes. I think I was talking about her. And someone in the comments had made the statement that they don't think it's unfair to the children to have children do for their parents when they're overweight. Everybody has their own opinion. Me personally, I think it's unfair because a child should be a child. You should let a child enjoy their childhood. Don't have that child grow up too fast. Now, even throughout his comment, he made a very interesting point. He said, well, it teaches them survival skills. It teaches them how to cook, how to clean, so that when they get older, they already know how to do these things. That's true. That's true. But they learn these things because of a very selfish individual, somebody that didn't have to eat themselves damn near to death, or didn't have to eat themselves to immobility. But this is the reason why they've grown up so fast, because of somebody else's self-centeredness and selfishness. So I kind of somewhat agreed with that comment. Yeah, the kids do learn stuff from being a caretaker, but then on the other hand, I really didn't. A child needs to be a child. Let a child stay in a child's place, and the roles should not be reversed. It should not be a child is taking care of the parent when the parent is supposed to be taking care of the child. I just don't agree with that at all, And I really feel like in the very first initial episode with Chad, he did put too much on those children, especially the older girl. And his wife even made that statement. She's just a kid. I mean, she was standing there in tears. She's like, I hope he changes his life. I hope he really gets it together, because we should not have to do everything. If anybody should be doing everything for him, it should be her. She's the wife. Don't put all the responsibility on her children. I just didn't think that was right. So, but he did lose a lot of weight. He really did. After the surgery, he lost so much weight. He looks so much better. So, big ups to him. Very happy about the fact that he did change his life, and he's, doing things going the healthy route, and he made progress. Very, very happy for him. So the outcome was really, really good. Now, the main person I want to talk about throughout this episode is June. I want to talk about her and her progress. Her progress has been getting a lot of comments, and there's been a lot of talk on the My 600 Pound Life discussion groups on Facebook. And, her story has generated the most responses. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, first, let me say, she said it on the show. She talked about her progress and where she came from and how she progressed in terms of dress size. She went from a 6X down to a 16. So she lost 400 plus pounds. Yeah, this woman did a phenomenal job with the weight loss. She really did good. She had some times where she slipped up and made a few mistakes. And she admitted that to the doctor. We're human. People are gonna fall back into their old ways when it comes to something that they're addicted to, especially when they're trying to make a change. It happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen with some people. Human beings are susceptible to falling weak. We get that. But overall, she made tremendous progress. But I think what was most interesting about her story was her relationship. There's been two. They've showed two relationships with June on this show. The main one that they showed the most of was the first relationship she was in with a woman named Sadie. Yes, she is gay. Yes, June is gay or bisexual or whatever. She's got children, so she obviously been with a man, so she's bisexual. But the relationships that she were in on this show were centered around, her interest in women. So she was with Sadie, a woman named Sadie. That was the first relationship that they showed. And you could just kind of tell in the first beginning, you could tell that from the very first initial episode that Sadie she just really wasn't for taking on the caregiver role. She just didn't want to do that. And that's basically what she was. She was taking care of her. She was bathing her. She was going to get her food. She was helping her to get dressed. She was at her beck and call as far as what it was that she needed. Dr. Now made a very good point about their relationship. the first relationship she was in, and he says, you know, when I first saw them, I saw that June was over 600 pounds and Saadi was smaller. And he said, usually when you have a relationship like that, where one person is bigger and the other person is smaller, he says, that's usually how the smaller person wants it. They want to be smaller because they don't want to get fat like them. They don't have the getting big in common part. They want to get their partner big so that they can have control. But then on the flip side of things, really, the girlfriend, Saadi, was really the one being controlled, because if June didn't get the food that she wanted, if she didn't do what the hell she wanted her to do, she was a bitch to her. She was very mean and nasty and out of control. So yeah, so it was a case of they both were really controlling each other. And June went into the hospital. Dr. Now had her come into the hospital. She was on a forced control diet. She lost a lot of weight, and that's when you could tell that it was beginning to bother the girlfriend. The girlfriend didn't like that. She did not like the fact that that June was losing weight. But you know, she said one thing to the cameras talking to us, but then, you know, her action said something different. She claimed that she wanted to get things back to the same romantic relationship that they had, you know. But if that's the case, you can get that if she loses the weight. But once she started losing the weight, you know, she couldn't take it. She couldn't handle that, because she started to see that she was losing control. She was losing control, and that's just not what she wanted. So yeah, she left her. And with the first initial episode, this is from that first episode, this is what everybody wanted to know. They wanted to know if maybe June and Saadi were taking a break, or if she had left her for good. But we got the answer on this last episode of Where Are They Now? June answered the question. She said, I was with a woman named Saadi. She said, but I was turning into a different person. So she just couldn't stick around. And that just raises the question. It makes you kind of wonder what really went on with them. You know, and some people say, oh, well, why are you worrying about it? It's none of your business. Look, these people put their shit out on national television. They're putting their lives out, the challenges that they have, their love lives, their financial situations, how they go back and forth with the doctor. They put all that shit out on national television. So if you have people that's willing to be open about their personal business, then they got to expect that the public is going to have something to say. They need to be open to public opinion. When you put it all out there, you got to take it all in. That's just what it is. If you don't want people to judge your business, don't tell people your business, you know. So since she put it out there, hell, inquiring minds want to know. So she answered the question on this episode. She said they broke up. And then she met somebody else. It makes you wonder who really was at fault when it comes to these relationships. Did she really leave because, you know, she couldn't control you anymore? Or did she leave because you got this confidence and everything because you're losing weight, and that's great. You should have confidence from losing weight. You should feel wonderful about yourself and beautiful. I mean, you always should, heavy or not. But it comes more into play once you start losing weight. Did you get big-headed about it? Did you really get arrogant? There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. Did you get arrogant about the fact that you was losing this weight and just say to hell with your girlfriend? You forgot all about her when she was there with you at your lowest. That's the question. That's what makes people wonder. Did you push that person away, or did the person just couldn't stand how much weight you were losing, and they were in fear that you would probably go around and fuck around with somebody else? I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder. You know, they have a really good therapist on this show. Her name is Lola. And she made a very good point to one of the cast members. She says, you know, when you start losing all that weight and you're not as morbidly obese as you were, and your partner is beginning to see that you're a little bit more independent than you were when you were morbidly obese, it kind of has them to a point where they got to redefine their role. They don't know whether or not they're gonna be needed by you anymore. And to some, that sounds kind of bad, because it shouldn't be about that in a relationship. It shouldn't be about whether or not that person is dependent on you. But it really does have people concerned when they get a new person that they're in a relationship with. It makes them think about how they should deal with it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that it's going to make the average person kind of wonder, what is their place? So, moving on, June had met a nice lady online. Her name was Mary. And their relationship really got serious. She lived in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. June was down there in Houston. She would drive from Houston to Arkansas to spend time with her on the weekends. It really grew extremely serious, and then they got married. She seems like she's getting her life back. I'm happy for her. If that's what she's, if that's what she considers happiness, if that's truly, where she's content in her life, a marriage, the weight loss, getting back into, extracurricular activities. Nobody's happier for her than me. It is just refreshing to see these cast members, really change their lives. Everybody has something with them. Everybody. Nobody's exempt. Everybody's got some type of flaw. But these people are brave enough to put it out on national television and share it with the world. And you can't help but be happy for them when they have made an enormous transition from 600-700 pounds, some of them even 800 pounds. I think Milla Clark was at 800 pounds. Now she's down to 100 and some odd pounds. When you see transformations like that, you just can't help but just like, wow, like that's amazing, Somebody actually really had to be disciplined in order to get down to that point. So, I'm happy for them all the ones that actually made progress, So, I just wanted to get that out there. Follow me on all social networks, please. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. My outro will have that information. And check me out for another video coming up. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Ann Jeanette. I never did any discussion about it. I don't want to call it reviews. Well, I guess you could say it's a review. Because this particular episode aired months ago. But I never got a chance to talk about it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing videos on my 600-pound life and Family by the Ton. I'm going to be doing videos on that show as well, even though the season is over. But I wasn't doing reviews or videos on TV shows around that time. So even still, I'm still going to do videos and give my thoughts on each episode. And check me out, please. And subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.